Please love me, 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 please love me. Do you love me? Please love me. One of the key skills that you need to learn to be successful at socializing is the ability to just keep the conversation going and keep your hands on the wheel of the conversation and steer it in the direction you want to go. It doesn't mean like you're forcing it in the direction. It needs to be organic. And another thing as well, simultaneously, is not relying so much on logic. So when I segue from topic to topic, there will very often, it'll seem as though there's the most tenuous thread between the things. But it doesn't matter. That would matter if you were at work. That would matter if it was any other conversation except a social conversation with somebody you're meeting in like a social environment, because they're trying to get away from that. You need to have it rubbed in your face that shit doesn't work hundreds of times. If that is rubbed in your face hundreds of times, you will develop an aversion to speaking logically. For me to speak logically when I'm out, it feels like eating dog shit. Like, hey, speak logically here. It's like you saying, here's a plate of dog feces, consume. Like, no, I'm not going to do that, because that results in an unpleasant experience for me. So again, I just know, here, this is dream world. This is the adventure, ethereal dream world. Again, here, I'm like, all right, motherfuckers, here's the information. Let me relay it to you in a concise fashion, and make it as clear as possible. If I'm out, like, it's kind of funny. If I'm out, I'm like a different person. Like, he can probably attest to this. I'm like a different, like, I'm laughing and smiling the whole fucking time. I'm just like a Tasmanian devil out there. I have the different elements. There's the game show host, there's the urbane articulate conversationalist, and then there's the cartoon pimp. And all of these characters are kind of like blending together. It's like this hydra where the different heads are popping up at different times and like keeping all these balls in the air. No pun intended. Yeah.
So when you have those three different characters, how do you like be congruent to who you actually are?
Each one of those people is me. They're a facet of me. Each one of those is a facet of my personality. They're equally valid. They're equally authentic.
So like when like a girl's like shit testing you to like find out like who you truly are you like him or are you like?
It depends. It depends on what it is. Because sometimes if people are testing you, sometimes you're like, okay, I need to go authentic here, because otherwise it's going to break trust. Other times, I'm not even going to take it fucking seriously. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to make it worse. Yeah. I'm going to make it worse. You know, I remember one time I was out and this girl's like, me and my girl were picking this girl up. She goes, what, you like a team? You go out and like pick up girls? I'm like, we pick up women, not girls. I don't fucks with girls. I only fucks with grown ass women. She's like, I hate it. I go, I hate you. She goes, I hate you too. I go, I hate you more. And she goes, high five, and it just fixes it. You know, I remember another time I was out, we were in New York, and there was 4 students that were talking to this group of people, and I was just to the side watching. I wasn't even like involved. And one of the girls, she goes, you know, I like you guys. I like you guys. You guys are cool. I don't like this guy. And points at me. I'm like, the fuck? I didn't even do anything. It's like, yeah, this guy's an asshole. I can just tell, this guy's a fuck. It's like, you hear me, dude? You're an asshole. I go, oh, cool. What is it about assholes that turns you on so much? She's like, oh, very funny. Oh, hardy har har. Good one, dude. She goes, whatever, you're gay. And I look her up and down. I'm like, I mean, I am now. After bearing witness to this. And she's like, whatever, dude. You like it up the ass. I go, hey, that doesn't make me gay. She's like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, who the fuck are you? And then like 2 minutes later, we're making out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like internally, but of course, externally, I'm like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what the fuck? But you know, again, it's a thin line between love and hate. Here's the thing about that. There's different kinds of tests. Sometimes people will test you because they're trying to put a frame on you, I guess what you might call the power frame. You know, where the power frame is where people will just kind of big time you, they'll act rude to you, they'll try to order you around, they'll just kind of be dismissive towards you and stuff like that. This one's relatively easy to break because people don't expect you to even try. So what you do is you do like a little clap back. Again, I'm not unfriendly per se, clap back. It can't be mean-spirited, but it's like a little kind of sassy little little clap back, like I did in that example. What will happen typically when you do this is the person will kind of like game recognize game. They'll be like, oh, what's this? Oh, they're not rolling over. Okay, what you got? But like, all right, let's game on. What you got? And it'll begin this kind of like pleasant little battle of wits, right? Where it's fun. Like that's the idea. If you're actually generating angry or defensive reactions, you're probably coming on too strong with this. But you know, if you just give them a little kind of sassy clap back, a lot of the times they're like, okay, we got a real one here. What's up? And then it'll, you know, that initial kind of like faux acrimony faux antagonism will kind of settle out, and they'll be like, okay, respect. Now, the thing is, if the person is genuinely like upset, well, in that case, you probably want to break out, you know, like statement of empathy and demonstrate that you have, okay, I know I said something, and, you know, depending on what it was, you know, maybe I said something that was a little too far and kind of wasn't appropriate, you know, not the most appropriate thing to say. Hey, look, I get it. Sorry, you know, I don't really get out of the house much. I've kind of forgotten how to comport myself in public. Please forgive me. But anyway, and then change the subject. You know, just don't dwell on it. Just like throw out the apology, just to say, hey, look, I get that I violated the social norm or whatever, and then try to steer it off in like a fun way, keep it light if possible. You know, usually that'll fix it. You know, because people are like, okay, they made a genuine attempt to you know, they saw that they violated the rule or in the environment or the boundary or whatever it is. They made a genuine effort to make amends, and then most people respect that. So it kind of depends. That's the urban, you know, the urbane articulate conversationalist, sassy fucking pimp named Slickback or whatever, like says the goofy shit. So it kind of depends. The point is, this is not like these aren't characters you're putting on. There's power in authenticity. Like the cartoon guy that says the outrageous things, those things are not designed to provoke reactions. It's not button pushing to provoke reactions. I just say whatever I genuinely find amusing. And sometimes the thing I find amusing, other people don't. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. Because again, I'm not trying to find 10 people that think I'm somewhat okay. I'm trying to find the one in that environment that thinks I'm fucking awesome. And if I have to talk to 10 people to find that person, I can do that. I don't care. I don't take it personally. Again, I do not take rejection personally. Why? Because I have developed high self-esteem. I know that I am for some, I am not for others. And that's, I think, for many people, like you got a lot of guys, just people in general, they feel that they understand that intellectually, but they haven't internalized it. Even my assistant, this guy I talk about, this like ultimate savage dude that just, you know, took the 5 boot camps after the 10-year relationship, who's like super good now. That was like the last piece of puzzle for that guy too. He's like, I intellectually understand it, but I haven't fully internalized it. But now he like kind of made that switch, and now this guy is so far up his own ass, so much of like a narcissistic lunatic, that he will miss easy layups because the people will get offended. But he doesn't give a shit. He'll be like, fuck off then. Like, because why? Because why doesn't he care about that?
Because he's got leads.
Well, no, he'll just iterate more. He'll just iterate more in the environment. He knows he's going to find somebody there. He doesn't care. Like in his mind, there's so much abundance. There's so much abundance, it doesn't matter. He's like, my way or the highway. Like I used to be like that too, because it's true. It's true. You can just iterate. But I think there's like there's a healthy midway point. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they're such pushovers initially. They're like such people pleasers. They're like, please love me. Like it's kind of funny because that's, again, his impression of a student's approach is like this. Please love me. Please love me. Like that's his impression of how students approach. Please love me. 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 Do you love me? Please love me. Like that's what students look like to him. And frankly, you kind of look like that to me too, but to an extent, because it's so much. Do you like me? Do you like me? Please like me. So again, you're so inside of yourself, like you're so in your own head and your own body, thinking about, do I look cool? Is it being well received? Does this person like me? That there's no room for it. Pushes everything out. There's no room for the other person's experience. For one. For two, it reeks of neediness, desperation, which is a massive turnoff. It puts pressure on the other person. There's a variety of reasons why it's bad. So, but that's initially where it is. But then the pendulum swings, and then it's like, fuck everybody. Fuck y'all. I'm Jesus. Like literally, in 2015, I was having so many threesomes, I believed I was Jesus. And I was going around introducing myself to people as Jesus, because who except Jesus could have this many threesomes? Only Jesus could have this many threesomes. And I'd be like, yo, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Jesus. This is my fucking mom. Say hi to my fucking mom. It's like Game of Thrones. I fuck my mom. And then my girlfriend would just take her, like, start making out. Like, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then guess what? Some people would bounce out, but many would be like, these people are hilarious. They don't give a fuck. I love it. It's so refreshing. It was so refreshing and different that the more I acted like that, the more success I got. And so it's like a feedback loop, right? You know, feedback, like you put the microphone up to the speaker, and it's like, until it becomes this ear-splitting fucking feedback whine, where now you're such a narcissistic lunatic that now you're missing, like if you just acted normal, this person would have gone with you. This person would have liked you if you just acted fucking normal, but no, you got to be Jesus, the threesome lord, or whatever. You know, so again, I went through a period of that myself when I was younger. But then I was like, no, that's not, there's a better way. There's a more like relatable way where you're not going to be this, again, narcissistic maniac. But I think that everyone should kind of dip their toes into the waters of narcissistic lunacy a little bit. Put it on. Try it on for a size. Walk around. Check yourself out in the mirror. See how it feels. Right? See how people respond to it. Because that's another thing. Some of this stuff is so counterintuitive. You're like, there's no way in hell that shit would work. I can see it on your face. Like as I'm saying that little story, you're probably like, that's bullshit. There's no way that happened. No, it fucking happened. I have videos. Some of you have seen the videos. I would just go around doing that, driving my little van around, screaming out the window. Like, bro, it worked. Why? Everybody's bored. Give them something different to talk about. A person that needs it to work isn't going to say that.
Out of all the teachers that I've seen, and this isn't bullshit, Jeff's was the only one that was actually concrete, tangible, and to the point. The others had a lot of like inner game material that was subjective and people perhaps couldn't relate to, but everyone can actually relate to the tangible points that I saw today. Even me, I could relate. So I learned something, which is very rare.